I want to thank everyone for joining us today. My main name is Assemblymember Pilar Schiavo. I represent the community of Valverde Castaic, where we have a burning landfill at Chiquita Canyon Landfill, and have since 2022, before I even got elected to office over 2 years ago. And today we're doing a tour with other legislators who have come from around the state to see this growing disaster in our community. So I'm so grateful for them to share their time, the little time that they have back in their communities when we're working in Sacramento a lot of the time. And I also am incredibly grateful to community members who have been struggling with this landfill and the health impacts that it has been causing in our community for years, for really decades. So I don't want to take a lot of time, but I think one of the most important things for us to know is that just this week, we learned a lot of work, millions of dollars spent trying to mitigate the fire that is burning deep down in the landfill. It was covered by an airtight geomembrane that you can see when you drive by. The community likes to call it the giant diaper because it's the white cover on top of the hill. And we hope that along with taking out the toxic liquids and the gases that are feeding the fire, would help to reduce the size of the fire. Unfortunately, it has not worked. And so that has not only not contained the fire, but it has almost tripled in size. And so we are again calling on urgent action to protect our community and protect community health. We have people here who have been diagnosed with cancer, who are fighting cancer. We have this community right here, neighbors the landfill. It's just over the ridge. And there are 10 people in this community who either have cancer now or have in the last few years. And so we know that it is causing a healthcare crisis, a public health crisis in our community that urgently has to be addressed. We have to get people out of these communities. This is not a quick fix. This could be burning for decades. And so we have to prioritize public health in this moment. We have to make sure that we're keeping our communities safe. There's a school that is near here. There are kids who go to that school. Her kids go to that school. And who are dealing with rare autoimmune diseases, with respiratory diseases, things that they never had issues with. People have bags of pills that they have to carry around with them now because they have so many health issues because of this landfill. And to add insult to injury, the landfill just ended their community relief program that was providing funds to the community to help cover the cost of doctor visits, to help cover the cost of electricity bills because they have to keep their windows and doors closed 24/7 and run their AC all the time. To help cover the cost of changing from a swamp cooler to an internal AC system so you actually can have air on. To get air filtration that is industrial size air filtration that still you can smell inside homes, the smell of the landfill. I stayed here myself. I stayed at Jennifer's house. And within a half hour, I had a headache. I had a sore throat that night. My skin was red and burning. I, in the morning, blew my nose and I got a bloody nose. And I could not remember the last time I had a bloody nose. And that's just from one night. And people here, they here 24/7 are getting sick every day. So this is an urgent situation that needs to be treated with the urgency. I had asked, and many of my colleagues have signed on to letters asking for a state of emergency from the state. The county, LA County, is the oversight agency over this landfill. We hope that they will declare a state of emergency because we have seen just in these fires the kinds of resources that come when you declare an emergency. Resources like tax relief for our community members who are struggling financially because of the additional costs that this disaster is causing them. To be able to move and be able to bring your lower tax rate with you if you have to purchase another property. Or even to bring it to your bank and try to negotiate a forbearance so that you don't have to pay a mortgage and rent somewhere else while this disaster is going on. So we know that there are just simple solutions that will make a big difference in people's lives, but also we need robust response. We've seen how mountains have been moved in responses to the fires, and we need those same mountains to be moved here in this community for people who are suffering every day. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to some community members to ensure they are able to share their stories.
Hi, Maya. Welcome and thank you for being here today. My name is Yasina Valdivia. I'm a 48-year resident, a part of fourth generation here in Valverde. I also serve on the DDCA board, and I'm also part. Oh, sorry. Oh, it's the Valverde Civic Association, and I'm also part of the the video that they're going to show. Thank you.
If you guys could say and spell your name, that'd be helpful.
Yadina Valdivia, Yasmina, Valdivia, Daldivia.
Can you talk about what you and your family have been through?
Yes. My late husband was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, passed away. My daughter at the age of 8 was diagnosed also with colon problems at the age of 8. She had whole colon and rectum removed with the Puthro J pouch. Till this day, she's undergone 17 surgeries, the last one being just in November of last year. My son at the age of 15 was diagnosed with diverticulitis. And just in August 2024 was also, they removed a portion of his colon. And every day we suffer with nosebleeds, headaches, sore throats, heart palpitations, stomach problems, tremors. And we just would like that you guys are all aware of what we're going through, and our children too. Both my children had to relocate and leave the home that they were raised in, born and raised in, for a better quality of life for their children. And my granddaughter, every time she comes, she gets a nosebleed and gets rashes. We have burning eyes. So we really need a state of emergency. We need help. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Elkin, Jenniser, Elkin, Elkins. I'm the mom of 3, and we moved here in 2016 to buy our dream home and live in this great community that we love. And, a few years ago, we started noticing the odors, and we started talking with neighbors and putting 2 and 2 together. We were having a lot of symptoms, but we weren't connecting them to the landfill yet because we didn't know that was the problem. Looking back, it definitely is. My kids come home from school almost daily with headaches. They're all elementary age. My son has bloody noses to the point where it's like blood, like you turn on a faucet, like pouring out of his nose, and you cannot stop it for the 15, 20 minutes. And those are frequent, at least my kid once a week. My husband has broken out with hives that we couldn't explain for months. Doctors couldn't figure out anything he was allergic to or why he was having this reaction. Had hives all over his body. So our community is really suffering. I'm one of the closest residents to the landfill. And it's not getting better, it's staying worse. As you heard the Assemblymember say, it's actually doubled or almost tripled in size. And they've just stripped the only relief that was coming to our community, which is the Relief Fund program. They've taken that away. So no longer can we afford the expensive utility bills that we're running our AC and our air purifiers 24/7. It's my last electric bill was $1,200. And then on top of that, we can't leave when things get really bad. When we have really bad days and everyone's suffering, we're locked inside and haven't opened our doors or windows, but we can't afford to leave. I'm really concerned for my family, for my neighbors, especially the children and the schools. We really need your support. LA County has failed us. The landfill has failed us. And so now we're reaching to our government officials and we're asking to please prepare a state of emergency, help our community, help us fix this problem because we don't want to lose our community as it is. We love this town. Valverde has a long, rich history. The people here are amazing. You cannot find community like this nowadays. It's really, I don't think we could find a home similar.
Hi, name is Brady Howes, Brandi Howes, Howse. Me and my husband live in one of the closest homes to the landfill with our 4 kids. And we have been dealing with this for years. We've been here for 25 years, but it just keeps getting worse and worse. And then the last 4 years or so have been really, really bad. In February of 2024, I was diagnosed with triple breast cancer, stage 3, breast cancer. And that has been a lot of surgeries and a lot of chemo and radiation. It's been very difficult. My daughter has been diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder also. And then I also was diagnosed with another autoimmune disorder, which is type 1 diabetes. So it's been a lot for our family. We're scared, we're afraid, and we just don't want to be anymore. We would like to open our doors and have people over for barbecues and just be normal again. You know, we just want to have a space where we feel okay and we're not scared anymore. So,
Can you talk about your first have cancer?
last count, I think it's been 10 or so, and that's just in the blocks around us. We don't know about the Valverde as a whole, but just in the people that are directly around us in the few blocks around us, the last count, I believe, was about 10.
And people who have, can you say?
Oh, have had cancer. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. 10 people have had cancer around our neighbors and out of our neighbors, excuse me. Yeah. So it's been, a lot on our community. We're not to mention the sinus pressure and pain and the burning eyes and the gravelly throats and the, sore throats and the, it's every day. It's every single day, and we're just tired. It's tired.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Jeffords. That's Elizabeth, Jeffords, JEFFORDS. And I'm the new guy on the block. I live in Paisley Hills, which is about 2 miles maybe from here, from Valverde. Had never heard of Valverde before we moved 5 years ago. So we closed on January 2020 into our dream home. It was everything that I could ever imagine. We moved from Valencia, so not that far. So we know the area pretty well, but I am astonished that I never heard anything about the Sinigyo and what these people have been suffering for so many years. Immediately after we moved in, I started getting crazy symptoms none of my doctors could explain. I started getting nosebleeds from day one, trouble breathing, eyesight, where vision, tremors, heart palpitations. The doc, which I never had bullet to begin with. They wrote it off as various different things, allergies. They told me they sent me home with Zyrtec, all kinds of over-the-counter things that never worked. About 2 years ago, the headaches became chronic. The vertigo became chronic. The dizzy spells, the disorientation became chronic. And it has been 3 Christmases that I have been in that. So it used to be that when we left the area, things would get better. My symptoms would subside. But because I've been here, hearing from the county and the landfill that they're going to do something, that the situation is under control, that LA County has the funds to relocate us, to give us some time so they can do their beta. I have been stuck here trying to wait up. And I recently I recently had to relocate because I knew I was on my deathbed about 3 months ago. So I just got back 2 weeks ago, and immediately as soon as I got home, I felt the effects right away. It's something that's not going to go away. It used to be a trip to Ventura, but those trips cannot come every single day. And the worst part about this situation is the elevated temperatures happen overnight, where we're not being monitored. The landfill operators are not being monitored. They're working overnight between the hours of 1 a.m., 4 a.m. when we're sleeping, and we're breathing in all this toxic chemicals, whether we smell it or not. It's happening, and we're ingesting those tears. And so, to me, the only solution is, apart from walking away from a property, is to get help from the county, and that's why we made a state of emergency so rapid. So we can pause these mortgages, property taxes, or expenses, so we can afford to relocate ourselves.
Can you talk about how ICF had to be over and try to be the...
Yeah, very active in the community. I had several businesses in here in Santa Clarita, and they've all been closed down. I have not been able to get out. I have not been able to function. I went 8 months without driving because of the vertigo, and the constant nausea, the disorientation, forgetting, speech impediments, not being able to write. I've lost all my feel in the writing dance. I cut myself yesterday trying to cook. Simple things that you take for granted in your daily life. Can't do it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Darcy Stinson, that's DARCYSTINSON. I've been a Val Verde resident since 2008. Recently, like everyone else is saying, it's been a horror story here. I remember at one of the EPA meetings, I found out some of the symptoms of benzene poisoning. I'm a disabled veteran, and I fought for my country, and I've been tested and all this stuff for a bunch of different medical symptoms, and none of the doctors can figure it out. But what really was eye-opening is at this meeting, they said it effects of benzene poisoning, and every one of those effects were what I am having. Which goes,
Our doctor, yeah.
Excuse us, photographer.
So as you can see, those things come out of nowhere.
okay. This is a common occurrence to so many residents of Val Verde, and LA County Health Department doesn't seem to think that this is an important emergency disaster. This is an emergency disaster. This happens so common to so many kids, adults, everyone. This isn't a way to live. This is, I mean, you guys are witnessing this happens. As I was saying, like benzene poisoning, I can't stand still no more. I shake constantly. And most of the residents do. This isn't normal. I don't have Parkinson's or any of those. Why is this happening? And I'm one of those residents that have cancer. Randy House, the child that's having problems right now, they're my next door neighbor. But LA County doesn't seem to think that we are having an issue. I had to relocate. And so I relocated out of here, and the landfill said that the situation is getting better. And yet we find out at the CAC meeting that it has more than doubled the size of the reaction fire, underground fire that's still burning. And they pulled all the funding for the community. And so I asked the landfill 3 different times, is it safe for me to come back home to my home here in Valverde? Their response all 3 times is, I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question. So if it was safe to live here, what would harm them saying it is safe? The thing is, I think they understand that it is not safe, so they can't say it is safe. And this community needs the help. I appreciate all the assembly members here that are standing up for us, and the congressmen, and all the members that have stood forth to help us. I'm part of the Cajas State Town Council. We have been standing up for the community constantly. We need people to understand and see what's going on. I thank you so much. Yeah, well, yeah, as I said, I'm one of the citizens that have cancer, but it's one of the odd things is you can walk out my old front door and go to the street and you go, they have cancer, they have cancer, they have cancer, they have cancer. Where at do you go? And like every one of your neighbors has cancer. Like we live off of Lincoln Avenue in Valverde, and majority of the people are right in that surrounding area. There is others, but it seems to be a super big cluster. And the county said that they published this cancer study. They never came to my door. They never came to any of my neighbors' doors. So I don't know what the study is, or if they take all the numbers of LA County and say, hey, we only have this many cancer patients. Well, the rest of LA County is not right next to this toxic event. We are. If they're doing a study, it should be done right where the reactive area is. Thank you so much.
So I want to bring up some of our legislators again. Thank you. It's heartbreaking every time I open my window at home, I think about, no, in this community, you cannot even open their windows. You can't go outside. So I'm incredibly grateful to other assembly members who are here today. And I want to bring up our majority leader, Eddie Arcuri, to say a couple words.
Good afternoon. My name is Cecilia, Cecilia, Saint Aguiar Curry, Aguiar-Curry. You know, this has gone on obviously too long. Why there hasn't been a response to this community as well as to other people in our entire state that have air quality issues? Why haven't we taken care of this? The time has got to stop. These people do not need to put up with this day in and day out. To see this young man right now having a bloody nose, which is probably more common than we even know in this community. So I'm asking all those that can help us out, whether it's Cal EPA, whether it's the county, whether it's the state, we need to stop the talk and we need to get this done now. So with all my heart, I want to thank all of you from the community that's been here, told your stories. I am so sorry that we have not done something more for you. I want to thank Assemblymember Schiavo for what she has done, that she's taken this forward, as well as the congressman. Well, where's everybody else? Where's everybody else trying to help you out? So I want to thank you very much for being here. I want to tell you, you've got a great group of legislators up and down the state who are hearing you. And I'm so sorry.
So I'd like to bring up Assemblymember Herbidian, who represents the area impacted by the Eden fires and knows what it's like to respond to a disaster. So,
thank you, Assemblymember. Good afternoon, everyone. John Herbidian, JOHNHARABEDIN. Assemblymember Schiavo just mentioned I represent the district where the Eden fires are, and our communities have been ravaged by health episodes such as this, it is obvious that it is not safe to live here. You don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to be a doctor. All the evidence is before us. These people need help. And I'll tell you, we're all responsible for this. This is our trash. If you lived in LA County, Ventura County, the surrounding areas, we all have added to this. So this isn't a Val Verde problem. This isn't a Cass State problem. This is a LA County, California problem. And we're going to stand with you. We're going to get it up.
Now, Assemblymember Gail Kelleran.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Gail Pellerin, Gailpellerin. I represent the 28th Assembly District in Santa Cruz and Santa Clara counties. I just want to say to my colleague, Assemblymember Pilar Schiavo, thank you for bringing us here. I have your back. We all have your back. Meeting all of you here today, hearing your stories. We have your back. We are going to come back with your story, and we're going to tell it over and over again until we get something done in this community to save you from this disaster, because there's no reason you should be living under these conditions. And just my heart goes out to think how we have Assemblymember Jasmeet Bain here, a doctor who can tend to somebody who's having we are now with you. We have your backs. We're going to stand with you. We're going to tell your story. We're going to make sure the governor knows about this, that we need a state of emergency in this area, Los Angeles County. It is time to show up and come to this community. We need the Board of Supervisors. We need the Department of Public Health to be here to help these citizens, because they deserve a life and a quality of living here. So thank you very much.
I wanted to bring up Dr. Jasmeet Bains, Assembly member, who just helped one of the children in our audience because he suffered a bloody nose, which is all too common in this community. So we'd love for her to say a couple words.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Bains. I just responded to someone with the nose and hearing more about the story. He's been having it the last 2 years, several times a week. Mother is unsure if there's been any testing done to see if there's any bleeding disorders or anything. I mean, the real question is, and we were meeting earlier today, is what is being done to test the people to make sure they're not being exposed to things that are in the air? Where are the studies and data that show, what the health impacts are? When I asked the group that we were meeting today, I was not given an answer, and the public health department didn't even join the Zoom. So that I know this is a call out to the public health department right here. Look, I'm a doctor too, and I do give a crap about my patients, and you all should give a crap. So thank you very much.
And I wanted to invite Assemblymember El Hawari up to say a few words as well. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sade El Hawari, SADE-ELHAWARY. I'm an Assembly member representing South Central Los Angeles. I'm also part of the California Legislative Black Caucus, as well as the Latino Caucus. And what we're seeing here is more than just an issue of something that is absolutely horrific. We know that environmental justice plays a part too. When we see communities of color, when we see diverse communities that are going through this together, and to know that this is a historic community that really has been a place for so many folks to come together to experience this together. It is not okay that we are watching folks get cancer on the same block, in the same neighborhood, and we're just sitting by and not doing something real, doing something to actually push for real change. The governor has to declare a state of emergency in this situation, and we can't sit and hope that he will do it. We are here together today to ensure that that happens, to ensure that we support you all by really standing up and standing together, to know that you all deserve to have your voices amplified. And that's what we're here for. Thank you all for being here, for sharing your stories.
Thank you for helping the community members. We are standing here while someone's nose starts to bleed, while they're telling us what's going on. We're watching it happen in real time. And we cannot allow that to continue. Assemblymember Schiavo, we have your back. We have you. We got you and the community. Whatever we can do to keep pushing, we are going to do that because that's what you all deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, you know, in closing, I just want the community to know, and I am so grateful for the other members here, assembly members here today, sending a strong and clear message that we need immediate action. Our community has been waiting far too long, been ignored, and not validated, told that it's not that bad, that it's aired just like the rest of LA. And I will tell you what, nowhere else when I go to other parts of my district in LA, do I get a headache within 30 minutes? Do my eyes start burning? Does my skin start burning? Do I feel sick to my stomach? But every time I come here, I have some of those symptoms. Every single time. We know this is not like the rest of LA. We know that people are getting sick, and it's time for action. It's time to protect people. And we are going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that that happens. Because it is time for real action that makes a difference in people's lives. People have been telling their stories over and over again for years. And we are done. We are done now with telling the stories. We now need action. We need the county to declare a state of emergency. And if the county is going to be negligent and will not take action, then the state has to do it. We need to move it up the chain and get a federal emergency declaration so FEMA can come in and provide relief to this community. We know that there is relief available to this community if an emergency declaration is made, and it is not available. I'm having to carry pieces of legislation now to piece together the things that would automatically happen if we had a state of emergency. Tax relief, relocation assistance, you know? Why do we have to do this piecemeal and wait for the legislative process when with a strike of a pen, it could be done today if there was political will? And we are here to say that there is political will to make this happen. And we need all of those who have the power to strike that pen. There can be a simple vote of the Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Barger would just bring the resolution forward to the Board of Supervisors. I have been told by a majority of that board that they would support a state of emergency. So let's put it to a vote. Let's put it to a vote for a state of emergency at the Board of Supervisors. And if they are not going to validate and fight for this community, then the state of California has to come in and cover them because they are not stepping up. The supervisor is the mayor of this town, and I hardly see her ever come here. I hardly ever see her come to the meetings. I was at a 3-hour meeting once in 3 years. Once in 3 years has come to a meeting. I was at a 3-hour meeting the other night, and I am at that meeting every single month through public comment and answering questions. We need real representation. We need our government leaders fighting for our community. That is our job. Our job is to show up and fight to make sure that our community has the protections and the resources that they need. And we are done now talking about the problem. We know what it is. We know that people are sick. We know that this is an emergency. And now we want to see action to give people relief, to keep them safe, to stop having more and more neighbors show up with cases of cancer. We cannot go on like this in this community, and we refuse to. So thank you, everyone who has been carrying this fight in the community for so long.